ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris is back for some more Hearthstone arena action. This is my third arena of the day, but the second one was like super quick. It was under an hour. Not to spoil it or anything. But I'm in the mood for some redemption. So the last two were Warlock and Hunter. I'm gonna pick Priest, which happens to be really good. Alright, starting things off right away with a tough pick. This can really hold the fort sometimes. And it sometimes will win you games all by itself. Other times it's just terrible. The Mass Dispel, it's so good. It's just really good. I mean, the Wild Pyromancer is nifty, but man, I'm going to take the Mass Dispel. I think that sometimes just having that is just amazing. Okay, we're going to take Northstar. Cleric, that's totally fine. I could take a combo piece here. Not a big fan of that, though. The Raid Leader, also not super great for Priests. It's more of an endgame card. It's not really a 3-drop. Let's just take a 4-drop here. Mass Dispel is not really a 4-drop, and the Light Spawn is about as good as they come. It's a 5/5 for 4. Sure, it gets small, but yeah. Okay, Shadow Word Death. Now, you don't want to have too many Shadow Words. You can have a bunch of them stuck in your hand, but having one is definitely good, and Loot Hoarder and Worgen are not, like, that hard to pass up. I could take a Silence, and that's really good, but let's make sure we get our endgame party started. I had one arena recently where all the endgame cards I saw were, like, War Golem, Core Hound, I had a Reckless Rocketeer. It was like pretty much like every single bad endgame card. So let's just grab the good one while it's here and make sure we have it. Okay, do I take a second one? Power Word Shield is nifty, but yeah, I'm just gonna take a second one. I mean, it's so good. I just want to have two of them. Okay, this is just a generic 2/3. I don't like this very much. It's in below average body, and it's hard to play it and a spell at the same time. Not to mention I don't have any spells yet. We'll take the Mediocre Taunter, because hey, taunt is a taunt, and sometimes that's all you need. This is alright, but let's take the early game creature removal. And I do like the Silence, but Holy Nova is important to have one or two of. We get to play with a Legendary. Woo, that's been a while. Well, let's take a look. So these are both 6. This one hits a little bit harder, and actually it also has more health. So it has 4 total extra stat points, but if it dies, your opponent gets a 3/3. So, basically, this one, your opponents are likely to Hex or Polymorph it anyway, I mean, that's only 2 of the classes. Any other class that kills it, it would legitimately die, but man, 7 toughness is a lot. I guess it's the same as a Boulder Fist Ogre, and those die. I suppose if I am up against a Priest and it gets mind controlled, I would rather he mind control this one, so that when I kill it, I'll get a 3/3. Although, if he mind controls this one, it's easier to kill. I think both of them are a cut above Onyxia, because, I mean, they come down 3 whole turns earlier, and they still hit really, really hard. I mean, the 1/1 Whelps is nifty, but it's not worth 3 extra mana. So it's got to be one of those 2. Man, that's a tough call. I think I'm going to take the Beast, because this guy is one of those odd ones where, like, the ability is very good, but, like, usually, like, when you play it on turn 6, then you're praying it doesn't die. And 5 toughness, your opponent will usually find a way to kill it. 7 toughness, though, maybe not. So we'll see if I regret it. We'll see. Okay, easy pick here. This is quasi-removal, but the Chillwind Yeti wins games, so we will take the Chillwind Yeti. Now, here's a very difficult pick. Do I take a second Holy Nova to make sure I have both of them, or do I take another Premier 4-drop? Now, there have been games where I've regretted having only the one Holy Nova, but here I'm going to take the Sen'jin because, I mean, with the Light Spawn, the Chillwind Yeti, now the Sen'jin, I have a brick wall at 4 mana, and it's going to be really difficult for my opponent to get past that kind of a start. A third Temple Enforcer? Yes, please. I would not take every single one of those that I see, but I'll happily play 3 of them. Okay, we're going to take Shattered Sun Cleric. It's an easy choice there. And Silvermoon Guardian. Now, this is a pretty good 4-drop. I wouldn't put it in the same class as the Sen'jin, the Light Spawn, or the Chillwind Yeti, though. So here we'll take a moment, because we do need 2 drops. We're halfway through the draft, and I don't want to get just screwed and lose, because I didn't see 2 drops for 15 straight picks in a row. We're going to take the Loot Hoarder for some card draw, and more importantly, just early plays. Okay, so these are both decent battle cries that can sometimes come in handy. This is a 2-drop, but it doesn't have any good battle cry. Well, I think I'm going to trust my instincts here and just go for the 2-drop. I do need to have those. I would rather have, like, only the Northshire Cleric for 1-drops than to have only the Loot Hoarder for 2-drops. Much as that is kind of sad. The Panda is fun. Shattered Sun Cleric isn't great when you don't have that many things at 2 mana, but I guess I have 3 things at below 3 mana. The No Motion Mentor, I don't want to spike 4 mana with such a weak body, even if it means drawing cards. Is there anything to Panda back? Not really. I mean, not really. Nope. I could re-heal this, but I can do that with my hero ability anyway. Nope. Maybe. So that's 1. That's it. Yeah, we're just going to take the Shattered Sun Cleric. Okay, this is starting to be a little bit too many Shattered Sun Clerics, but I don't think I can justify taking those. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm consciously going into this draft with the plan that these Shattered Sun Clerics will often just be a 3/3 for 3. Okay, very tough call here. Northshire Cleric can really get you ahead. Holy Smite, of course, is early removal, and then the Ventricle Mercenary, I mean, it can just win you the game sometimes. So how much endgame do we have? We have 1, 4, 5 creatures at 5 mana or more, which is alright. My gut tells me Northshire Cleric, it doubles my odds of getting it on turn 1, and that will just slow your opponent down so much. Even though Holy Smite is removal, I think Northshire Cleric is going to be my pick. Ah, well, we have 2 mediocre epics in Shadow form, so I'll just take Shadow form. Seems good. I want to make sure I have Silence in the deck. Currently I have none, so we will take Silence. I'd rather have that than an out to weapons. And this is actually really great. So we have, I mean, the light, well, it's nifty, but we have premier 4-drops here. Not a single bad one in the bunch. Now, Mind Vision's nifty, but I'm still a bit short on 2-drops. So I already got a Silence. I only have 2 things to play on turn 2. Granted, I have these 2 1-drops, but let's go ahead and grab the Fairy Dragon here. And now the only playable card here is the Wild Pyromancer, so let's grab that. So we kind of short up that weakness. I'm not desperate enough for late game by any means to take the ugly Corehound. I could take the Stormpike Commando. It fits into the curve. I would call this a legit 5-drop because it does deal 2 damage. So it by itself, assuming it doesn't get killed by something else, can like trade against a 6 toughness creature. But this is the best 2-drop in the game. So am I running too many 2-drops now? I really regret this thing. Although that was like a Voodoo Doctor or an Abusive Sergeant. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 cards. I think this is okay. I think this is fine. As long as I don't see like any more chumpy picks, I'll be totally fine. Inner Fire, does that work in this deck? Kind of with the Temple Enforcer, but not really. So I'm not going to take that. This I don't want to play. So we're just going to take that. That kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? Ah, Shadow Word Pain. There we go. I really, really needed those. Looks like I'm going to get just the 1. We'll take a Chillwind Yeti for 5 mana. That also happens to heal. And, okay, so I'm not taking the Corehound. It's just a matter of do I take the Taunt or do I take the damage? So, taunt-wise, I've got the Senjin and the Booty Bay, and that's all? The damage is nice. I'm a little bit light on removal. I've just got a Holy Smite, 1 each of the different Shadow words. There's the Pain. There's the Death. I have Shadow Form, which is quasi-removal. And I have a Holy Nova. So would I rather play without Taunt and stay low on Taunt, or would I rather stay low on removal? Well, I have 4 6-drops already, so let's just balance things out a bit and take this guy. Okay, easy pick here, I think. The Ancient Mage is nifty, but with just a Holy Smite and a Holy Nova is not super impressive. We'll just take the Emperor Cobra, and that'll help me survive in the early game and possibly even serve as an out against big creatures in the late game. So is this the strongest priest deck I've ever drafted? No, not by a long shot, but it's also not like terrible. It's got 1 of all the removal cards, the Smite, Holy Nova, both Shadow Words, and I've got 1 Silence. So I have like 1 out to everything, and I have a lot of good, really good creatures. With the Temple Enforcers, the Chillwind Yeti, Senjin, Light Spawn, I am very likely to just win with creatures if we can make it to the endgame and we're kind of even, and if my opponent doesn't have a ridiculously aggressive deck. Mighty Pawpaw. It's a nice name. Okay, let's see if I can get one of my Northshire Clerics here. No, but I got a Bloodfen Raptor and a Shadow Word Pain, which is almost as good. I'm not going to mulligan my Holy Nova here. I've lost a game or 2 by mulliganing my 1 copy of a global removal card and then not having it when I needed it. Of course, it's possible that I will have it, and when I don't need it, then I'll be really sad that I didn't mulligan it, because then I essentially went to card down. But I think it's worth keeping around just in case things get a little bit out of hand, but we can trade my opponent's creatures down to almost dead, and then finish them off with Holy Nova. Don't dismiss the heal on this. When you have big creatures in play, the heal on this is sometimes really significant too. Okay, let's take a look and see if my opponent has turn 1 Northshire Cleric. I actually have a pretty good play here. This into Shattered Sun Cleric is good. Come on. Nope. Ah, Young Priestess. Well, I could play this and have him trade. Then I save my Shadow Word Pain for a better thing. So basically, either I kill this with Shadow Word Pain or I kill this with the Bloodfen Raptor. And the Bloodfen Raptor, sorry buddy, hate to throw you under the bus, but you are not as valuable as Shadow Word Pain is, so I think that's just the clear move I have to make. Also, I don't particularly mind if this eats a Holy Smite or a Shadow Word Pain. Ah, he's gonna do a Grunt. Ah, clever move, sir. So he can actually attack past me with the Priestess. And then hope to trade the Grunt in for the Bloodfen Raptor. Oh, okay. Well, that's a reasonable gambit. I'm sure I would make that gambit sometimes. However, it fails atrociously against Shattered Sun Cleric. So now the Young Priestess can kill this, but, I mean, basically my opponent lost a Frostwolf Grunt for absolutely nothing. Now, again, that wasn't a bad play. It was a totally reasonable gambit. It just really didn't work out there for my opponent. If he has a slow turn here, he's going to be in big trouble, too. Because I could actually kill the Young Priestess with my Shattered Sun Cleric, live to tell about it, heal up my Raptor to put him above Holy Nova range, and then swing for 4. Has he used his coin yet? No, he has not. He played, well... I guess he didn't have... Oh, no, he had the Young Priestess on turn 1. I played the Raptor, then he played the Frostwolf Grunt. So no, he still has the coin, so he could... Basically, the reason I'm asking is because if he still has the coin, it means he could play Holy Nova on turn 4. That way, if I do use the Shattered Sun Cleric to kill the Young Priestess, I don't want 2 creatures sitting at 1 health. I could play the Emperor Cobra out, but I'd rather just keep this back and keep the creatures I have on hand. Keep in mind this has 3 health, so healing it would not be a waste. Anyway, he's probably just going to use the Young Priestess to kill the Bloodfen Raptor, so I don't need to worry that much. What do we got here, bub? Come on. The coin and Sen'jin Shield Master, perhaps? Chillwind Yeti, perhaps? Gnomish Inventor. Ah, well, that's very reasonable. You know, if I had another one of my Shattered Sun Clerics, this would actually be amazing. Nope, no such luck. Okay, so I can Shadow Word Pain and keep a Shattered Sun Cleric. What I'm going to do is just this. And I'm going to actually attack. So my opponent can now give me a taste of his own medicine by playing Shattered Sun Cleric of his own, making this a 3/5, and swing at me. But I'm okay with that, because then I can just kill one of them off with the Chillwind Yeti, and then the Chillwind Yeti would also be enough to kill the other one. I could also use Shadow Word Pain and Cobra. Yeah, that would actually be smart too. Shadow Word Pain, the Shattered Sun Cleric, kill this with the Yeti, go down to 2 health. That's a bit sad. And then I'll just play the Cobra. Or maybe even, yeah, I'll play the Cobra so it's already there in case my opponent drops something big. Raid Leader, okay, so Raid Leader is actually not as good as Shattered Sun Cleric, because it doesn't buff this thing's health. Let's see. So the kind of crazy play would just be to Holy Nova. That's a sort of a 2-for-1. This did draw a card, but it kills both creatures, lets me swing for 4. A milder version of that play is just to use Shadow Word Pain to kill one, kill the other with the Yeti. Then the Yeti's at 3 health, the Cobra survives Holy Novas. Yeah, it seems fine. Doesn't really matter what order I do this in. But we're keeping the board clear, we're getting board presence, and now my opponent can't really play, like, you know, a Ventrico Mercenary or whatever, because then this is just coming down. He also can't kill the Yeti either. This survives Holy Nova, survives Holy Smite, survives all the Shadow Words. My opponent's in kind of trouble here. Especially after I played the 6/6 and make this a 4/7. It's like a Twilight Drake on crack. Ah, that's a good card. But it's actually not good enough. Alright, well this is a very promising opening game. We are just dominating with our creature quality. Putting it on this is an interesting idea, actually. Let me think about that. I could buff the Cobra to be a 2/6. That would survive against the Tiger. No. I'm just going to buff the Yeti. That will make the Yeti survive the Tiger directly. And, the Cobra could have then been Shadow Word Pained, which I don't really like. If my opponent has Shadow Word Death, I honestly wouldn't even mind, because I have another one right behind him. He pointed something. I don't know what that was. Oh, if not Shadow Word Death. Maybe he's wondering, is it better to play Shadow Word Death, or is it better to spend my 6 mana to play a creature? If he plays something that's worth more than 3 mana, we'll see that he decided to play the creature and was possibly holding on to Shadow Word Death. You know what I never saw in this draft? I love how I sometimes don't realize it until afterwards. Yep, there it is. I never saw any mind controls, so I'm at a disadvantage in a priest versus priest fight, because you have to assume that the opponent has mind control. So when you yourself do not, it's sad. Alright, he's got 3 mana. What's he going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do on my turn. I mean, almost certainly I'm just going to play this. I can't imagine what 3-drop would make me not play a Temple Enforcer and buff the Yeti up. Ah! That's pretty good. Man, another Shattered Sun Cleric would be ace here. I could, buff up this Cobra, kill the Warrior. Bah. Oh, jeez! I actually got it. Oh, my God. Is that actually the best plan, though? Then the tiger will then get to kill the Yeti. Okay, man, I asked for it, and am I not even going to use it? Let me think. So I could use the Cobra to kill the Tauren Warrior. The Cobra actually survives that, but if I use the Temple Enforcer to buff this health, the tiger will kill it. What I really want to do is maybe buff this guy's health, use it to kill that, and then use the Cobra. Ah, I think that's the right move. So as much as I want to play Shattered Sun Cleric, I think the right move is to do this. Kill that thing, and then kill that tiger, and then pass the turn. So now, this way I'm not as vulnerable to Holy Nova, because if I had gone with the Cobra on the Tauren plan, then this would have stayed at 2 health, or at 1 health. Yeah, I'm sorry, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, folks, I screwed up. There's no reason to buff the Cobra. The Shattered Sun Cleric on the Cobra did nothing. The Cobra could have killed the Tauren Warrior regardless. So anyway, the point is then I could have maybe buffed the Cobra's health. I don't know. I think it was a good play. I'm left with 2 fairly resilient creatures here. If my opponent has another Shadow Word Death, I guess I'd be in trouble. This doesn't quite cut the mustard. This is part of why I hate this card. In the end game, when you finally can drop it, it's not even good. Okie doke. My opponent, is he really going to go for my throat? I mean, it's a reasonable decision. If there's no use burning it into my creatures, why not go for the throat? Oh my god, wow. Very rarely have I been so happy to draft that pile of garbage. Alright, what we're going to do here is I'm not actually going to play more creatures. I'm just going to heal my Yeti, so it doesn't die to Holy Nova. The Holy Nova is actually a very tempting play now because this will die to it. My opponent could mind control this 6/6. That would be his entire turn. I would swing for 8. He'd go down to 3. I would need 3 more damage. 1, 2, 3. GG. This is, again, I know I keep harping on this, but I just want to be the one who said it when they nerf mind control. I don't think it needs to be nerfed. I mean, because you can play around it so easily, and it's the whole entire turn. Well, if he has a second Shadow Word Death for this, I'm actually in a little bit of trouble because, well, I could use this ridiculously good Shattered Sun Cleric to buff one of these things up. Ah, oh, Thought Steal. Well, my opponent screws up. He spent 4 mana to play a creature, then Thought Stole. He really should have Thought Stole first. He might have drawn something better than this. If he Thought Stole one of my Holy Smites, he can actually kill this off, and that would let him live for another turn. So we'll see if he draws that or not. He does not draw it. Okay, well, that's the game. Okay, I actually did this once. I actually, like, attacked with everything when I had a Shattered Sun Cleric, and I, like, forgot to use it for the lethal damage. Okay, that was a very encouraging first game against Mighty Pawpaw. I don't think he had a bad deck or even played badly, other than the Thought Steal after the creature, which is a mistake any man can make. But we really smashed him, so hooray! Let's go on into game 2. As always, we'll play just a couple of games in this first video, and then if you like how the arena's going and you want to see how it ends, then stick around and you'll see the rest of the games posted in an upcoming video. I think this deck definitely has a chance to go the distance. I've said that about a lot of decks, but to be fair, I also sometimes do say this deck sucks. There have been a few times when I've said this deck sucks and I ended up doing really well, but most of the time when I say it sucks, it actually does suck. And then there have been a sad number of times where I thought I had a really good deck, and it didn't go the distance. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to keep this Mass Dispel, and the reason for that is that I want to be able to Mass Dispel Blood Imps. And, okay, this is interesting, so I got my Shadow Form. Now, the tricky thing about Shadow Form is that you spend 3 mana and it doesn't do anything immediately, unless it's later in the game, of course, and you have mana left over. But if my opponent has a slow start, and there's nothing on the board on turn 3, then the Shadow Form just makes it so hard to stay in the game, because, I mean, deal 2 damage to anything is crazy good. So if my opponent has a start, as Warlocks are likely to do, it'll be a while before Shadow Form hits. That's actually fine. So he essentially traded a coin for a card. I'm okay with that. We'll play the Amani Berserker. The best card my opponent could possibly have here is an Abusive Sergeant. He could play it and buff this up to 3 to kill off this. If he doesn't do that, then I can actually turn on Enrage against this, which is kind of scary for my opponent, if he doesn't have Shadow Bolt or Demon Fire or Drain Life. Ah, he's going to silence it. Well, it's a reasonable move, so now I just have a generic 2/3. That's fine. Shattered Sun Cleric seems good. So what this allows me to do is actually kill that thing, and still live against this Engineer. Now my opponent could attack with the Engineer and Mortal Coil to finish off. He might be fishing for a Mortal Coil, or he might already have one and is just drawing a card first, because you always want to draw cards first. Now let's think about this situation. I could play Lightspawn, but this might be the time to Shadow Form. I mean, I have the edge, right? Both my things die to Hellfire. This wouldn't die to Hellfire, but would be severely weakened. This is a waste. I could heal my guy. I think it's time to Shadow Form. I mean, there's really no better time than that. So that's the thing about Shadow Form. You want to use it when you're already ahead. So then it becomes harder for your opponent to catch up to you. Now, of course, I can't heal my creatures, which is a bit sad, but Holy Nova would still kill him, would heal him. So look what happens. I mean, this is just so bad for my poor opponent here. He gets to kill my thing, but then... Oh, man, does he have a Soulfire? He should totally use it if he has it. Wow, he should have used it. He pointed something. Anyway, we're going to Shadow Form that. The Cobra is a very timely top deck. Hellfire I'm a little bit vulnerable to here, but I think I should be okay. Even if he has it. He has a lot of cards from the life tapping he's been doing, but his board is behind, and I've got pretty good drops. Lightspawn gets a little bit worse with Shadow Form because he can't get healed back up. That is a pretty good combo. The Cobra was obviously going to kill the Violet Teacher here. Oh my god, is he actually going to catch up? Oh my god, he might actually catch up. Ah, Jesus. Well, let's go ahead and kill this. Kill that. And I could silence it or I could dispel it. I think I'm actually going to play the Lightspawn here. It doesn't kill the Violet Teacher because of that stupid Young Priestess, but Shadow Form will finish the Young Priestess off. Man, I might actually be in trouble here. My opponent had a slow start, but boy did he have a good continuation. Ah. There it is, folks. There is the moment that we play Mass Dispel. Now, of course, I could Shadow Form off the Divine Shield. That actually is interesting. Hang on a minute. If I play this, silence that, I mean, this is the creature I want to hit, right? I could hit it, then this guy goes on to 1/1. I could silence it, hit it. Then I have a 4/3 against a 3/3. I can't kill the 3/3 with Shadow Form. I can kill it with Holy Smite plus Mind Spike. Ah, I think that's what I want to do. Yeah, so I could either Mass Dispel and draw a card, but I'll save the Mass Dispel, because I can put a body on the board, so I'd rather do that than draw a card. So we're going to silence this, kill it, and then Shadow Form plus Holy Smite. My opponent has had several opportunities for Mortal Coil, and he hasn't ever used it, so I'm guessing he might just not have it. The Darkscale Healer is a good pickup. It's a Chillwind Yeti that costs an extra mana, which I'm totally down with, and it heals back up my Lightspawn. So here we can see the problem with Shadow Form. I'm not getting to heal my Lightspawn back up. It's just stuck at 1/1. Alarmobots. Okay, Succubus. Alright, that's great. That's just lovely. Okay, well, let's take a look at the situation here. I can actually do this and draw a card. And then the Lightspawn will kill off the Succubus. Seems good. Let's just do that. Always draw cards first, kids. Always draw cards first. Oh, man. Okay, so we'll definitely do that. What do I have less respect for? The Summoning Portal or the Alarmobot? I mean, there's a chance this is a creature. Yeah, I mean, if that's a creature, I guess I might as well make my opponent pay mana for it. Okay. So we'll see. He can only play up most 3 cards with the Summoning Portal, and they would have to be quite cheap. They'd have to be 3 mana or less. I could have also Mass Dispelled there to make the Summoning Portal and the thing look stupid, but I wanted to get a Chillwind Yeti onto the board. And yes, I've picked up this habit here. I'm just going to call every 4 or 5 creature a Chillwind Yeti. Well, that's not good for my opponent. That also is not good for my opponent. Okay, well, I mean, this is fine, but the problem is we're in racing mode here. So, my opponent's kind of in trouble. Northern Cleric number 2. Oh, shoot. I wish that had been the other thing. Let's see. I can hit him for 8, 9 damage. That seems fine. Let's kill off that Flame Imp. We'll let you keep the Summoning Portal. I don't think it matters right now. This is interesting. I think I'm actually just going to throw this Taunter in the way, though. And do I want to play this? Nope. I don't want to play that. I don't want another thing to die to Hellfire. Hellfire would be pretty good for my opponent here. He's pointing something at it. Shadow Flame. Oh my god. Well, it's a good thing I didn't play this Northshire Cleric or my Temple Enforcer. Interesting. So I might have to try to burn my opponent out with Shadow Flame. I think that's my best chance. So we can still... I could mass Dispel, but no, I don't need to do that. Let's just play Northshire Cleric, give it some bonus health. So we're threatening the win here with the Temple Enforcer. My opponent needs a Taunt or a Siphon Soul to stop this. Siphon Soul would actually be an amazing card. It would get him back up to 8 health. This dies, I just have this thing. Alright, he's fishing, he's desperate. And he has Void Terror, that's not going to do it. I would have put the Void Terror over here so it didn't eat the Summoning Portal. I mean, all it really did was... I mean, all that really did was give it an extra 2 health, and the health is irrelevant. So he's trying to razzle-bedazzle me. Nope! Actually, he shouldn't have conceded. He should have let me take my turn, because you never know. Sometimes people do get razzle-bedazzled, and I'm like, oh, I better kill this thing, run it in, shadow form, who knows? Oh, don't click the play button! Okay, that's 2 games. Those are pretty good games. The Warlock actually, with that Shadow Flame, might have been able to come back and win if he had the Siphon Soul, but he didn't, so I won, and that's 2 games. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like and or subscribe, and if you want to see the rest of the games, then stay tuned. They're coming up soon. I'll see you.